Well, I think this is my favorite song out of all of our originals.
No kidding.
I gotta tell you something, man.
this
This one came up from behind really and surprised the heck out of me too.
Every time I listen to it, I'm like,
Yeah. If there was any song that you could wish that it would turn out like this, it was this song.
I agree.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we had this master plan. It just happened.
Yeah.
And we caught it on.
There's some chemistry there.
But this one has a real story.
This one goes back. Yeah, my daughter went through some serious loss in her life, and she's always been a horse girl, and she's always been about horses, and she's really good at dressage, and she's actually kind of made it a part of her life, and she gives lessons, and she's very good at what she does. And she had this horse when she went to college that had a tragic accident, and it was killed. And she was visiting us 3 hours away from her college at the time, and got the news, which was absolutely devastating. And I think probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do was drive my daughter 3 hours across the state when she's in this immense shock and tears and crying. And me as a dad just not knowing what to say.
Yeah, there's no answer.
The problem with grief is you grieve alone, and you may have people around you, and so you're really never alone, but your process is your own process. And I think the hardest part for me was in that car driving, and I could not reach into my daughter and pull the pain out. There was no control. I could do nothing about it, but sit there and watch her process. When my father died, I reconnected with the song in a very special way, and for me, my own grieving process became a part of this song too. This song is very relatable because it is just about that. It's just that idea of believing that there's got to be something more than just living and dying on this planet.
Yeah, and and I think the music reflects that.
There's got to be more.
This is the song we do probably the best at. It starts out with this just guitar and playing, and we add bass and drum, but you're just basically doing a cross stick rim shot until we get, and then when we get into the solo, it almost feels like, so there's joy in the midst of all that garbage, right? Because the solo is pretty cool, and it's
uplifting. It's actually uplifting.
It's kind of fun, and then it just kind of comes back down.
Shows back down. Yeah. In one of our live performances, I didn't really have a feel for where the dynamics should be. It all of a sudden came to me, you know what? It needs to get big, and it needs to get bigger in the middle, and so I went from the cross stick to actually playing the snare, and I think you looked back and you kind of were like, okay, I like that, and you started getting bigger on the bass guitar, and the dynamics went up.
Recording it gets poppy. Poppy
and
bass line, you're playing regular.
And we stayed. I mean, that kind of stuck with the song then from that time.
That lead in there is pretty poppy too.
Yeah, I just love that idea of like you're talking about something that's so real. And a lot of people struggle like with grief,
right?
But at the same time, like you were saying, there's like the joy in life that kind of comes along at the same time in life.
Yeah.
Like at the same time, you can have the most heartache and pain that you could ever experience, but there's also beauty.
Yeah.
And that's the complexity of life and the confusing part of life as well.
Yeah.
And that I feel like the song captures
that.
that.
That's why it's my favorite song.
Yeah.